So I started reading this book. It's weird because I came across it's by Robert Kiyosaki, I believe his name is. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's an interesting book. It's really interesting so far because it's weird because he had two dads. I guess he doesn't specify, but it sounds like he had some sort of his mom had some sort of divorce and married two different guys, and so he still kept in contact with both of them. And it's funny because for the specialness of him of the book of his situation. There you go. The specialness of his situation is that he had one dad that ended up being rich and one dad being poor, or not poor, but was always living like paycheck to paycheck within his means. Uh, one of them, he says, one of them never graduated college and was in the Marines, was in the Army, Navy. Was one in one of the branches of the military, and then got out, and then finished, and then got out, and then his other dad was like a Ivy League or like very high college graduate. Yeah, and the story is that one dad gave a bunch of advice that ended up helping him become rich, and the other one gave him very opposite advice, and they looked at the situation very differently. Um, yeah, which is really interesting because you're hearing him hearing him talk about stuff that um, is very different. It's stuff that I've actually heard both sides from different people. I tend to believe I tend one side seems more obviously correct, which is the side he's also trying to tell you to follow. Um, but I think it's one of those things where you should always be looking out for more knowledge. You should always be looking out for more, and he says this in the book too. Opportunities, which like the more you know, that means more opportunities. I'm not the greatest example of this, at least monetarily. But as far as like, let's say something like, I've always been interested in a lot of things. So for instance, like, I started taking dance class earlier this year. Had I not started taking dance class, I wouldn't have the ability to talk about certain things within dance. Now, again, I'm not like an expert, and I can't talk about everything, but because I've taken a certain amount of dance, there's I feel comfortable like I can feel my way around through a conversation about dance now. I feel at least, I at least have, or I have ways I could like ask more questions to somebody, and there would be a conversation about dance. But that wouldn't have happened had I not started taking dance lessons, and that's kind of what the same thing I think goes about in this book is like, why would you not learn more about your finances? Why would you not learn about, the skills to navigate, you know, like you can say, oh, well, I'm bad with math, and so I shouldn't learn it. But I mean, if that's the case, then you're holding back particular opportunities. Um, I think it's important to talk about this. I know this is still kind of early to talk about right now because I'm not finished with the book. I'm not like some sort of financial success. But two things. One, it talks about getting out of the rat race. Like the always, the main mentality behind the book is yes, you should work harder, but just working harder more at your job. Like, oh, okay, well, I work 40 hours a week. So if I work 80 hours a week, I'll make more money. That's not the way you're going to get out of it. You're not going to be financially independent by doing that because that's like the sucker's way of, that's the wrong mentality for trying to make money. That's specifically what it's talking about. And also, on top of that, too, there's also this discussion about how schools don't these are lessons you don't learn in school. Like in high school, they never teach you like money management or how, at least they don't. I think they may have dabbled, just very very dabble. I'm confident that they don't teach you at least the right ways. Even my parents didn't really teach me this stuff. I think I've talked about it in past videos. So um, but yeah, I think it's important. I don't know how young my listeners or you guys who actually watch these videos are. I don't know how young you are. I'm assuming y'all are under 30, probably under 26 for sure, probably. I mean, even me, 38 years old, it's not too late. I've been one of those people. I remember my dad was like 45 or 50 years old, and every time something happened, he would be, in Chinese, he would be like, "Oh, I'm too old. I'm too old. I'm too old to change. I'm too old to change." That's what he said when he was like 50 years old, maybe even 45. He said that when I was in like high school, middle school. He was telling us that he's too old to change. And unfortunately, that's the truth, because he didn't. He's like 70 now, and he's still acting the same way. Even with money, he's acting the same way and just like pissing it away. You know, like we're an okay family. We're well off, but I can only imagine like where he could have gone or we could have gone had he just like matured about some things. There's just some things he never matured. Should I talk about this publicly? Yeah, I think it's fine. So let me give you an example, okay? If you run a business, if you run a business and you let's say I will have products. So you buy, you have to have some money to buy products, and then you sell the products for more money, and then the difference you get back is your profit, right? So let's say you buy $500 worth of product. Sorry, your inventory is worth $500, and you buy it all, and then you sell it, and you sell it for double. So you sell it all of it gets sold, and you make $1,000. You make $1,000, or you have $1,000 now. Now, how much did you actually make? You didn't actually make $1,000. You made $500, because 500 of that was the original cost of the item. So whenever you get your $1,000, you should put 500 aside. You have $500 to do whatever you want with, and 500. So the smart person would take the 500 aside to go buy more product and sell another one, or maybe even take the whole 1,000, buy double product, sell it double, and make 2,000. But that's not what my dad did. My dad would get the $1,000. His eyes would light up, and he'd go, "Oh my God, I have $1,000 to spend. Woo!" And he'd just spend all the $1,000. He'd spend the $500 that he made, and he'd spend the $500 that he initially had to buy the product. Now that he spent it all, suddenly he had no money to buy more product, and you don't have more product, you can't sell it, you can't make more money. So then it was always like this, and then he'd have to scrounge together to try to find a way to get $500 together, or he'd have to borrow or something, and then again it'd restart the cycle again, because then he'd sell it, he'd get the $1,000 back, and then he'd like, "Oh, $1,000. Oh, I got $1,000 to spend. Woo!" And he spent it all again. But then you still owe the dude $500 that you borrowed. It's terrible, man, and it sucks, because I told you, like, he never learned his lesson. So even now at like 68, 70 years old, he's still doing the same thing. Like, this is why he always has a problem, because he can't manage the money himself. He's terrible with money. And you know what? To be honest, 100% honest, that's me. Part of it is me. And I remember when I was in college and I was running a business, that's the kind of stuff that I would do, and that's what held me back from not doing it. And college was me at like 25 years old. So I mean, it's been a good 13 years. I haven't really pursued that path, but I also know that money is something that, like, for me, it's hard to. I feel bad charging people. We don't need to talk about this stuff, because that's not the lesson here. The lesson here is there's certain financial. You should always be bettering yourself and trying to acquire more knowledge. Some of that is financial knowledge, and how to. There's multiple different areas, and there's probably some areas that and you're familiar with, and maybe you're good at, but there's some that you're probably not familiar with, or you're very bad at. And just because you're bad at it, or just because you don't like it, doesn't mean that there's not some sort of knowledge that you can acquire, some sort of experience that can make you better, that can benefit your life. And that is why I'm talking about this. So I will definitely revisit this topic again, possibly when I'm finished with the book or further along. There's a lot of, it sucks. It takes money to, so you got to spend money to make money. And it's true. A lot of Christmas holiday shopping things going on right now. So maybe you can find these books. A lot of these books are probably like dirt cheap at half price or online. Just, buy the book and read it, and you can learn some lessons. Yeah, maybe I'll make a list of all the books I recommend. I've been reading a lot of books this year, or audiobooks too. So, so hopefully this is a very simple message, and I probably went in a roundabout way, but really, I hope you guys can get something out of it. And yeah, don't be like me, man. Don't be like me and get into college, get into credit card problems when you're in college. And if you are, then really do the due diligence, do the work to get out, because it takes a lot to get out. And yeah, America is a very scary place because everybody's in debt, man. It sucks. It really sucks. And I want to get out of it. And like, if you guys want to also, more power to you, man. Let's do it together. So I'll see you tomorrow. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.